Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Cedars. Today we're going to be talking about different moon vocabulary words. These are words that are going to help us learn a little bit about the moon and that you might hear a lot throughout the week. So I want to make sure that you know them. So we are going to start with the planet we live on, which is Earth. And Earth, we're going to start with a capital E, lowercase a, R. And then whenever you hear the th sound like thumb, you're going to do TH. And Earth is the planet we live on. It looks a little bit like this. And I made this one to help us out. All right. And the people that live on Earth, sometimes one or two might leave Earth. And the people that travel into space, does anyone know what those are called? It's a tricky word, but they look kind of like this. It takes a lot of years of training, special training to make sure that you're ready to go out into space, a lot of learning as well. And these people are called astronauts. So it's going to be A, S, Ch, R, A, N. This is going to make the A sound. T. Astronaut. Astronaut. That's 3 syllables. That's a lot. So an astronaut, someone looks like this. They have to get suited up to go out into outer space. And now one of the places they have gone is the moon. And the moon, I'm going to tell you, is something that we call a satellite. This is a weird word. Satellite. Another 3-syllable word. Now, a satellite is something small that travels around something bigger. So if you have the Earth right here, the moon travels around. And that's why we see it sometimes, and sometimes we don't see it. So, the moon is a satellite, this is the Earth, and an astronaut is someone who travels outside of the planet and travels into space. Now, the moon is what we call a satellite that orbits. So, orbit is another word we're going to see. Can you guys say orbit? It's going to be orbit. So, an orbit is the path a planet or moon takes around something. So this path that we were seeing that the satellite makes, that's called its orbit. It goes around and around, and it doesn't really change. Now, we're going to look at another word. If you look closely at the moon, it's got these weird pockets. It looks like big bumps on it. These, if you look up close, look like this. They kind of look like mountains or hills or deep crevices on the moon. And these are called craters. Crater. And a crater is a hole left by something like a rock. So if you go outside in the sand and you take a big rock and you throw it really hard and you pick it up, you'll see that it leaves these weird marks like this. And because there's no wind or rain or snow on the moon, those craters stay there, and they can be giant or they can be small, and they're all over the moon. Now, another word that you might see this week is lunar. And lunar is a weird word. L-U-N-R. But lunar, we might have heard before, like Lunar New Year. And do you remember what we do for Lunar New Year? We talked about some of the traditions earlier this year, where there was the dancing dragon, the lucky money envelopes, the red and the gold, and how every year there's a different animal. And they're all following a lunar year. That means they're following something that has to do with the moon. So lunar means anything that has to do with the moon. Now, we've got one last word before we do a little bit of practice. So we've got the Earth, the planet we live on. We talked about an astronaut, someone who travels into space. We talked about the moon, that's a satellite or something that travels around something bigger. We talked about orbit, when things go around the path that planets or moons go around something. We talked about craters, those holes in the moon, and we talked about lunar, anything that has to do with the moon. Now our last word is this: rotation. So a rotation is when something spins around a center point. So the Earth rotates, the moon rotates around us. That means there's a point like here in the middle, and there's kind of an invisible line that goes around, and it rotates, goes around. So the moon goes around the Earth, and all the other planets, they go around something called the sun, which is the giant star in the middle, and they all have their own paths. But the sun does not rotate, does not move. All right, so if you're at home, you're gonna get something that looks like this. And we have all the words we went over and their definition or what they mean, and then these pictures that we have to match up. So what your job is to trace these words and then match them up to the picture. So I'm gonna help you out with a couple of these first. So I'm gonna read them out, and then we're gonna match two, and I want you to do the rest on your own. So the first word is crater. So that's the hole caused by something, like a rock that you might see on the moon. An astronaut is someone who's trained to travel in space. A satellite is something small that travels around something bigger, like the moon. Earth is the planet that we live on, which you should all know what it looks like. This is orbit, and that's the path a planet or moon takes around something. So each of these planets have their own orbit. Rotation is when something spins around a center point, like the Earth. And lunar, which is something that has to do with the moonlight, and we talked about Lunar New Year. All right, so I'm gonna trace the first word, and we're gonna do this one together. So we have crater, a hole made by something, like a rock. So we're gonna go through and see which one of these looks like a crater. So this one is pointing this planet going, or moon going around Earth. This one's a circle, looks like that. This one, this one, this one. I'm gonna say it's this one, because it looks kind of like a crater that we looked at. So I'm gonna draw a line, and then if you want, you can color it, but it's already kind of black and white. The next word we're gonna do is astronaut. And an astronaut is a person trained to travel into space. And we talked about how an astronaut wears a special suit, so we're gonna see if we can find an astronaut. Tell me stop when you see it. Right there, he's all the way at the bottom, so I'm gonna draw a line all the way to him. All right, and you can color your astronaut in, and you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to go. So see if you can match all the words up to these pictures, and you can color them in. All right, good luck, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.